Leading Bahraini human rights activist Nabil Rajab has had his prison term cut from 3 to 2 years. Rajab has been imprisoned since August on charges of organising illegal gatherings and inciting violence. Well, the activist's lawyer was demanding his release. The uprising in Bahrain has been ongoing for almost 2 years now, with the Shia majority demanding democratic reform from the Sunni ruling family. Let's discuss this, if we can, with geopolitical analyst Patrick Henningsen. Thanks for joining us here on RT today. Bahrain is under international pressure, isn't it, to stop persecution of political activists. Could the reduction of Rajab's sentence be any kind of sign that the regime is starting to listen?
Anything that the regime is going to give way on will be a positive thing, in my opinion. A lot of this pressure has come to bear because of the amendment which was just passed in the United States, which was an amendment to the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. It's inferring that Washington should now have to react to any human rights reports coming out of a country like Bahrain, which is a stark change from what we've seen in the last year or two.
And on Sunday, the US State Department voiced their concerns, calling on Bahrain to drop charges against those accused of offences involving non-violent political expression. I mean, do you see the ruling family listening to the US?
Well, this is the conundrum, the moral conundrum we have between East and West right now. It's a question of having a closed society versus an open society. And we can all agree, just based on Bahrain's human rights record recently, that it is a closed society. However, you know, the problem with the UK and the US taking a moral high ground on this issue is that they themselves are closing as societies. Only this week, the UK is kicking around legislation about spying on its own citizens, listening to emails, phone calls, using mobile service providers, and the U.S. has similar provisions in its Patriot Acts. So this is a real debate topic that I think people should rise to the occasion right now and really debate this, because it's relative in comparison to Bahrain.
And in fairness, the opposition and the regime said in recent days that they're ready for dialogue. So is there any chance of a peaceful resolution to the ongoing uprising, in your opinion?
It's going to be very difficult, and I have been on this program in the past, and I said the reason it's going to be very difficult is because to have any genuine democratic reform in a country like Bahrain that is housing the U.S. 5th Naval Fleet, and at the same time Washington and London and Tel Aviv are talking aggressively, baiting Iran into a military conflict, perhaps, that makes it a huge problem to see any real reform happening now in Bahrain. But, you know, the opposition movement has been, for the most part, peaceful. The danger is that a radical element could seep through, like we've seen in countries like Syria, and that's normally done from the outside.
You mentioned the word radical there, and Bahraini authorities blame radical hardliners for inciting violence, thus justifying the recent ban on public gatherings. I mean, who are these radicals, or is it just an excuse for a crackdown on dissent?
These radicals, we're not sure, and you won't be able to tell because, again, Bahrain is not an open society. There's a lot of foreigners running around countries like Syria and certainly Libya during the NATO campaign there. A lot of foreign fighters in that country stirring up trouble. So, again, if it's not an open society and the media is controlled and the government is not open about what's going on and jailing protesters for just showing up in some cases at peaceful protests, you're going to have a massive problem separating the wheat from the chaff, as it were, finding out what's what in the country.
OK, we'll leave it there. Geopolitical analyst Patrick Henningsen talking to us there from London. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry.